Appreciating what you have is one of the simplest ideas in the world, and one of the hardest to practice consistently. People constantly complicate life, focus on what is missing, complain about limitations, compare themselves to others, and quietly build an inner habit of dissatisfaction. It becomes so normal that many no longer even notice it. They wake up already lacking something. They go through the day already irritated. They measure life not by what is present, but by what is absent. And yet, almost everything in life is relative. A person may feel poor compared to someone richer, unsuccessful compared to someone more visible, or unlucky compared to someone living more comfortably. But comparison can always be turned in another direction. Even among people living right now, many still face realities far harsher than those we complain about daily. Hunger, lack of clean water, unstable shelter, poor access to medicine, weak education, limited literacy, no internet, no reliable communication, no stable legal order, and sometimes no real safety at all. When seen from that angle, many people already possess much more than they emotionally allow themselves to recognize. If we widen the perspective even further and look back just 100 years, the contrast becomes stronger. Many ordinary things we now consider obvious or even insufficient would once have looked like luxury. Instant communication, access to books and information, antibiotics, stable electricity, fast travel, heated homes, safe water, and the ability to learn almost anything through a screen. Modern people often complain while standing inside comforts that entire generations before them could barely imagine. This does not mean problems are unreal. It would be shallow and dishonest to pretend that suffering disappears just because someone else suffers more. Difficulties remain difficult. Pain remains pain. Injustice remains injustice. A person can still have serious problems and still need change. Gratitude is not denial. It is not a command to become passive, silent, or satisfied with everything. It is simply a correction of vision, because one of the great problems of modern life is not only scarcity, but blindness to abundance. People get used to what they have very quickly. That is part of human nature. Psychologists call this adaptation. The mind adjusts to improvements and soon begins treating them as normal. What once felt like a blessing becomes background. What once caused gratitude becomes invisible. And then the mind begins searching for the next thing to desire, the next absence to dramatize, the next reason to feel incomplete. This creates a permanent state of low-level frustration. The person does not live inside reality anymore. They live inside a mental list of what is still missing. That is why gratitude matters so much. Gratitude interrupts this mechanism. It forces the mind to return to reality and notice what is already here. Health that is still functioning, people who have not left, food on the table, a place to sleep, tools for work, access to knowledge, moments of beauty, the possibility of choice, and even the simple fact of being alive in a body still capable of experience. Appreciating what you have also changes the moral tone of life. It creates respect, not only for possessions, but for the chain of people and events that made them possible. Much of what we enjoy was not created by us alone. It was preserved, built, protected, discovered, repaired, and handed down. The home you live in, the language you speak, the books you read, the roads you use, the medicine you trust, the culture you inherit, all of it exists because someone before you labored, endured, defended, or sacrificed something. Gratitude restores memory. It reminds a person that life is not built from isolated personal effort alone, but from continuity. And this is important because ingratitude often produces not only dissatisfaction, but arrogance. A person begins to behave as if everything they have is insufficient and self-generated at the same time. That is a dangerous illusion. At the same time, gratitude should never be confused with stagnation. Appreciating what you have does not mean you stop striving for more. It does not mean ambition disappears. It simply means desire no longer becomes poison. A person can want growth, more freedom, more money, better relationships, deeper meaning, and a more beautiful life, while still recognizing the value of what is already present. That balance matters. Without gratitude, striving becomes endless hunger. Without striving, gratitude can become passivity. A mature life needs both. You appreciate what is, You improve what can be improved. You protect what is worth protecting. You pursue more without insulting what you already have. In this sense, gratitude is not merely a feeling. It is a discipline of perception. It is the refusal to let the mind reduce life to complaint.